Hey guys! Okay, so today's tutorial is the Bare Essentials foiled eye tutorial. You can see that. And basically what these are, they're little boxes and they're kits that come with step-by-step instructions on how to do various looks and then the end result. And they come with a couple eyeshadows and usually a brush. This came with 2 eyeshadows, Disco, which is like a silvery color, and then Night Owl, which is a darker brown. A double-ended foiling brush, because this is all about foiling, and I'll explain that in a second. And it has the flat end and then the pointed end. So basically what this concept is using the mineral shadows. You dip your brush in water and then you make a paste in the cap with the minerals, and you basically tap that onto your lid to create this shiny tinfoil look. So I really enjoy this look. I hope you guys do too. And before the look tutorial starts, I'm gonna tell you a few things that you should have on hand before you start. Okay, so the things you're gonna want for this tutorial are obviously the 2 eyeshadows the kit came with, the brush that the kit also came with, and you're also going to want some water on hand. Usually I just take like a cap or something I have lying around and fill it with water, and today it was this little silver cap. I would just use water, that way you don't contaminate your eyeshadow or anything like that with any kind of weird products, so just use water. Another thing you're also going to want on hand that I find super useful is an old towel. This is just an old like wife beater tank top that I use to clean my brushes on. But it's just really helpful because when you dip your brush in the water, it's really saturated and you don't want it that wet, or else your consistency with the foiling method isn't going to be right. It's going to be way too watery. So I like to dip my brush in the water and then wipe it off on the towel, and then it'll be just damp enough to get a good consistency. And then that's it. So here goes the tutorial. Hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our double-ended brush. We're going to take the end of it and our little water, and we're just going to dip it in the water. And you can see it's like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like about to drip. So what I'm going to do is take a cloth, you're not going to be able to see it really on camera, and I'm just going to squeeze the bristles. You can see it kind of drip. And squeeze it kind of into shape, almost as if you're like cleaning it. And we're going to take our first color, which is Disco, which is that silvery color. And I basically just tapped some of the mineral in the lid. This is going to be bad if my camera doesn't start. There we go. Just tapped it into the lid, and I'm going to start working it into a paste. Now, this can be a little difficult if you're not used to it, but basically the consistency you're looking for is like an opaque paint. You want your brush to be covered like this in eyeshadow. Now once you have your, the consistency that you think is going to be good, what you're going to do is start foiling it onto the lid. And you're basically going to do a dabbing motion, and we're going to take this heavy on the lid, like really dark and heavy, thick on the lid, and then we're going to blend it all the way up into the brow bone. And you can see it's like tinfoil. It's just like covering my lid, and it's very, opaque. Keep dipping back into the lid as you need it. If you need more color, tap more in it. You can dip your brush more into the water. You basically just keep making that paste until you're happy with it. This look does take a good amount of time. So just be prepared for that. And you can start taking it up into the lid, all the way up to the brow bone, I mean. But I want a little more in the lid, so I'm gonna tap a little more into my lid here, and then I'm gonna dip it into the water again, squeeze out or even wipe off the excess onto your towel, and it'll be damp, so don't worry about not having enough water. You will have enough water. And we're gonna keep making that paste until you get that thick paint-like consistency all over the brush. See how silver that is? That's what you want. So I'm going to get a lot on there. and just keep going over it. You can really build this look in layers, so remember that. Just keep layering it on and use that tapping. Don't sweep it over or else you'll get brush marks. You can see it'll just kind of start to wipe it off. Tap it on there and build it on. And use the tapping motion to blend. So there's really going to be no blending brushes in this look. It's just all about that tapping motion. Get a little more. So I'm not sure if I'll edit this part out. I'm not sure how long it'll take me, but if I edit it out, basically I'm just going to keep doing this until I'm going to do the same thing layer by layer until I get the right consistency. So the next step is dip your brush into the water again and then wipe it off. And then we're going to go into our second color, that Night Owl, that darker color. Dip your brush into the water, squeeze out the excess or wipe it off, whichever you prefer, and make that same paste again in the lid. And now what we're going to do is we're basically going to draw in that oval smoky eye look, and I'm just going to like trace it in with my brush. And then we're going to use that same tapping motion on the outer corner. Bring it up into the crease a little bit, and you can just kind of sweep it down. And then we're going to blend it in using that tapping motion. We're basically going to make that crescent shape, that circle shape. And then you can drag it into the crease. With these minerals, I never really had too much trouble with blending or getting too many harsh lines. But you can see around this edge, it's a little too stark for me, so I'm just going to kind of blend around that edge a little bit. And you can even use your finger for this and tap it together. It's just, you need to be careful when you're foiling these minerals, because once they dry, you can just sweep them off of your lid and, you know, mess everything up. Believe me, I've done it. Okay, so that looks good. So once you got that, now we're going to use the pointed end and do the same thing. Dip it in the water, squeeze off the excess, and we're going to dip it back into that dark color. And once you have it on your brush, thickly line the top and the bottom of your lid. Very thick. Don't worry about being too precise, because we're going to put liner over this, but it'll peek through. Once you're done with that, take your cloth and you're going to sweep off all the excess. These minerals can get really sparkly, so make sure you have something on hand to get rid of the fallout. Now, you can keep this look as is with the dark mineral shadow as your liner, and then put on a nice thick coat of mascara or set of false lashes, and I mean, that look would be totally fine. As you can see on this eye, I went for much more drama. I used my gel liner, my MAC Black Track, and I basically just did a thick line and winged it out a little bit into a cat eye, and I also lined my waterline. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then apply mascara, and I'll meet you back here in a sec. Alright, so that's it, and to finish I just used a light pink blush and a light neutral pink lip gloss. So basically, how'd we do? I think it looks pretty good, don't you? Alright, well that's the look, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.